and welcome on into our Q&A. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's gonna be a fun time, I think. As we get to listen, anytime I get to chat with Fair and also hearing from you all about your thoughts and feelings in regards to like the season, the series so far, I'm always excited to delve into. So might as well do introductions. We're gonna keep it casual today, so we're gonna kind of be a little bit more chaotic probably than usual. But hi everyone, I'm D&D Jordan Lee, she, they pronouns. I am a demi-bi, chronically ill, chronically in pain award-winning TTRPG content creator, performer, and producer, and the storyteller for AMP. And I am super excited to be here. And I have a wonderful, phenomenal guest. You might know her, maybe. I don't know. Fair.
Hi, I'm Pherin, she, her. I do stuff and things on the internet. And I play Diadora, Shade's son. You're a battle master fighter.
Oop, I am.
Yeah. You're mute. Are you muted? What?
No, I'm not getting your captions in Google Meets.
Okay. Hold on.
I just noticed that.
Looking.
Did it kick you out?
Oh, hold on. You gotta give me a second. No. Oh, yes.
That's rude. It's not a show unless there is some kind of hiccup. Thank you, Sphinx. So we'll get that squared away real quick. In the meantime, today is going to be a very special Q&A or question and answer, as we have learned that if you just type in Q, apparently into the Twitch chat, the gravestone with RIP pops up. So, yeah. But if you all have questions, please feel free to pop in with those questions. Just type question at the start. And I have a doc that both Fair and I have control over. So that way we can go ahead and grab the questions, work our way through. We already have a couple questions as I've been able to chat with some other viewers on the show. I did. And so they've submitted some questions, but I know some of our mod team might have any. We're going to be discussing basically everything Ampistrano, as well as tabletop, kind of opening it up to other things as well. But we'll be covering anything from season 1, the interludes that we have had, up until where we're at in season 4. So, which is really exciting. So, Fair, let's try that. Again, let's check your captions just to make sure we're good.
Hi, I'm here. I'm eating sushi with my hands. Nobody judge me.
No judgment.
Or actually, you know what? You can judge me. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. How about that?
Gotta love it. So incredible. So yeah, just as a heads up, we're gonna be talking about that. So there might be some potential spoilers if you haven't quite caught up with us just yet. But otherwise, no worries. We're also live on YouTube. I'll be keeping an eye on the YouTube chat as well if any questions pop up. Ellen says depends on the kind of sushi. Just kidding. So...
I see it. I see her rude response. Just kidding. It's just a couple. It's 3 different types of spicy roll.
Ooh, yummy.
Salmon, tuna, and yellowtail spicy tuna. Because it was a lunch special, so like, you know.
Gotta love it.
Instead of spending $1 bajillion on different rolls.
Wonderful. That sounds so good. Now I want sushi, which is a problem.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So why don't we get started? And like I said, please feel free to pop your questions into the chat. I will be grabbing them, or Fair will. So thank you so much. And let's get started. Actually, and our very first question goes to Fair. This season has been a time of change and renewal for Diadora as she bonds more with Rory and Astani. Who do you feel your character has grown closer to during the season so far? Is she pulling away from anyone?
I don't think there's necessarily anyone that she's grown closer to over the other. I think that there have been because trying to think about how to phrase this. I think it's like there are some episodes where it seems like she's closer to Rory, and there are some days where she seems like she's getting close to Astani. But I think that with Astani, we just met them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say that she's growing closer to Astani because, like, with Rory has always, there's always been like shades of Rory there, even if it was Blackstone, you know, because Rory is a different person than Blackstone, but at the same time, they share a lot of like overlap in personalities.
Yeah.
And even with Blackstone being gone in the meta, if we're looking like at the overall thing, she has been traveling with Rory for a bit before they even got to Jorix. So I don't want to say like, oh yeah, she's definitely close to Astani, she's definitely not close to Rory, because I don't think that that's the case, because I think like everything that they've been through as a trio, and even when it's just been like duo sessions, I think it kind of equals out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, there are conversations that make it feel like, you know, she's close to Rory, but I think with getting to know Astani and just everything that's been going on, I do feel like she is also growing a closeness with Astani. So I think it's just the relationships are different, and I don't like to compare them. You know?
Yeah. I think for me as a storyteller, it's been really interesting to see this kind of come to pass a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's been honestly kind of an ebb and flow, as it's been really just unique to see Diadora come to terms with this shift, right?
Yeah.
And to still be in that mode, of like, okay, hey, we have work to do. Like I'm gonna give myself a day, which is I think what happened. You gave yourself a day to kind of feel a lot of things, process a lot of things, and then you were right back into the fire, so to speak, of just pushing forwards. And there have been moments that have been where I feel like Diadora has really bonded with Rory and really bonded with Astani, as you get to know both of them a bit more. I think it's also been kind of unique too, because we've definitely seen not necessarily butting heads, but Diadora just being like, Rory, you're doing too much, like, it's fine. Like,
yeah, just... like, yo, this is like, he is like all of Blackstone's intrusive thoughts being made come to fruition, and it's like, oh my god, like there's like Blackstone has a lot of like, just like, okay, well, if I do this, then blah blah, and Rory's just like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Doing it. Yep. It's like, oh my god, like, please stop. Like, please stop making me be the voice of reason, because it used to be that you and I were the head ass twins, and everybody else had to be like, don't do that. Like, I will have to say though, I think if any relationship that Diadora's kind of been exploring more / getting close to more, I would think it's like with herself mostly, and like her ancestry and just like everything. I think if we're gonna talk about any relationship she's gotten like closer to, I think it is that. But in terms of like Rory and Astani, I think it's the same. She trusts them both implicitly. At this point, like, it would be hard not to when they've been through so much bullshit already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like to compare those kinds of relationships, because me as a player, I love Mott's and Sin very much. And I love playing with them. And like, I don't want it to feel like my character has a closer relationship with either one of their characters, because it's like, it's just not even the same type of relationship. So
for sure. Well, and what you just brought up a moment ago is a perfect segue to our next question, actually, which is another one for you.
Oh my god.
What has been something that Diadora has learned about herself during their travels so far, from season 1 up until now?
Ooh, well, you asked me to have a good memory, you guys, and I don't know about that. Something that she's learned about herself. I think how much resilience she has, because I don't think that's ever really been tested until this adventure. I think also And not in a bad way. I don't want this to come across as bad way, because when we hear the word like dependent, it comes across as kind of bad.
Sure.
Just like how much she actually does depend on and rely on other people, and how like being around other people does ground her. And how much like I think how much like she pours into other people. I think she's kind of learned that in both good and bad ways, but like mostly good, I think. But just like especially this season specifically, just how much like how much she takes onto herself in terms of like trying to think about like how other people, not how other people see her, but like the people that she cares about. She feels a lot of guilt when they're harmed because she always thinks it's her fault. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not phrasing this right, but it's just like it's not a people pleaser thing necessarily. It's more so like, if I don't do what I need to do to protect these people, then they're gonna leave, and I don't want them to leave. But it's just like, what she has to learn is like how to temper that a bit, and hopefully she will. After this season, like, you can't just like pour so much into other people. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's not like, generally speaking, it's not a bad thing. That's how she grew up, right? Like, she grew up in a community that like takes care of other people, so it's like kind of like inherent to her to do that. But I don't think she's ever seen it where it's like, I tried to take care and maybe I did a bad thing, maybe I made a mistake, and then they leave. Like, she's never had that happen before. And like, she takes on a lot of like, even if it's not her fault, like, she's been having a hard time seeing that it's not her fault. And it's just kind of the circumstances of like just life. But she's never had other people leave, so she's learning, as this season at least, she's learning like what it's like when people leave.
Yeah. I think for me, because season 1, kind of to your point, feels forever ago at this point. And there's just been so much change with it.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to see Diadora's resilience, I would say, to a lot of the stuff that's happening, but resilience not meaning that none of this is affecting her.
Yeah.
This is obviously affecting her, but she makes time to process those things, which I think is, in a lot of media, whether it be books or movies, etc., they don't give a lot of that time to be able to, okay, let me process everything real quick as my world just got flipped, and then figure out where I'm going from here. If, because Diadora has had now a couple opportunities to walk away from this. And she chose to stay and keep at it.
Yeah.
And that to me just speaks to such an inner strength. I think strength is associated with Diadora very deeply and intrinsically. But strength is also allowing yourself to feel those emotions and allowing yourself to fall apart in order to pick yourself back up together.
Yeah. And I think too, just kind of going along with like picking up on you saying like she had chances to leave and she chose to stay. I mean, I think that's like really, I mean, it is part of her resilience, but it's like her looking at the world and seeing like, okay, literally no one else is gonna fucking do this, because this world is like, it's full of great people, but it's also full of cowards, and like the people who are in power who could do something about this aren't going to do it. So I guess I have to do this, and I guess I have to start class warfare. Which I am determined to do this season. I'm telling you what.
It's believe me, that's a question that pops up, so don't worry, that we will I'm sure get into. No, it's
we need to see something good happen or something good happen to the rich people, because we ain't getting that in real life. So somebody we have to at least have it in our fantasy worlds. Come
on now. Wonderful. This next question is actually for me. So the question is, your storytelling style has changed slightly with the introduction of these flashbacks and altering to different moments or places in time during the season at the start of the session. What prompted that change? Really great question, honestly. Honestly, during this break that we had, I kind of learned to just let go of things, and I think a lot of that has been letting go of expectation. I think, and I don't think it's a problem, I think it's a problem, common thing that happens of, since there is so much media out there, especially in terms of like actual plays, etc., a lot of them are very cookie cutter in the style and the way that they go about storytelling. And I had to have an honest thought and kind of conversation with myself and Salem, because he was in the room, of, we created Ampistrano to not be a cookie cutter. That's why there's homebrew. That's why we have our own take and rulings on different things that people may not agree with, and that's totally fine. What did I want our cookie, I guess, to be shaped as? And a lot of this came to fruition actually when I was prepping actually Diadora's armor and writing up the different possible entities that she could make contact with. Each of them leaving behind something within that armor. And the honest question that came out was, what did I want my storyteller signature to be and leaving behind? And I think by allowing for this to be able to explore flashbacks where we see moments of Astani being much younger and coming into the Veil Order, or Diadora having flashbacks to Tyneal, etc., it's allowed for the world to just expand so much more, because you're also seeing the ripple effects of those decisions that were made. So I think part of it too was realizing that there was just so much of the world that I was kind of sad that we had not been able to see just yet over the course of the last 3 seasons, because I felt that you had to kind of storytell in this specific way. And I was like, well, we never got to see this, and we haven't been able to see this, and like we're in our 4th season, like it feels relevant. And it's a great opportunity for our players and the characters to kind of explore an aspect of themselves as well that they may not have before. And this could be maybe something that expands into something else. So I think it was a combination of those things of just like, yeah, no, I want to be able to touchstone those things. Part of it too, I think, is when you have phenomenal players that give you so much stuff, you want to use it and find a meaningful way to use those things and incorporate those things into the world. Not just be like, hey, I'm going to just pad the sides of this carriage that we're in, and that's it. I want it to be used in a meaningful way and see what happens and what those domino effects are.
I have a kind of a, I guess, follow-up question to that question. Like, because we talked about your storytelling style, but not like, but your DMing style has also changed, and is that was it for the same reason or for other reasons? And same. I would also ask, like, what about your DMing style do you like right now, and also what do you think that you can still improve upon?
Ooh, really good questions. The DMing I think has been the same too, of just kind of letting go expectation. Because I think I didn't realize it, but I was limiting myself so much in doing that. And why limit yourself when your players are already kind of breaking the glass ceiling on things? Kind of like, I just think that's silly. So part of it was just kind of letting go with that. With this, I've really enjoyed kind of being able to have a bit more breathing room to expand the world a bit more, and being able to touch upon things that have come into play, have not come into play just yet. It's prompted some great conversations with the both of us talking about some things, as well as the other players too. But I think it just makes everything more breathable and livable, I think. It doesn't just feel like a fantasy story that you would read in a novel and that's it. Like, this is a living, breathing place with people moving about. Yes, all of it is fictional, but there are real life representations that are very much present. In terms of improvement, I mean, I've talked about it with the cast at length. And I do think I've improved, but I want to be stronger with it, is the battle stuff. Sometimes secret, maybe, I get in my head sometimes about the battle stuff. Just because a lot of it is, especially if we're going with very traditional, in this case, D&D, there's so much in terms of the rules. And as a storyteller, there is oftentimes, I think, this expectation that you're going to know everything. And I don't. And I'm not afraid to admit that. But I want... One thing that I want to make it feel like is the battle scenes feel more lived in as well, of not just like, okay, she hits and that's it. I want to be able to see, hear, everything that's going on, kind of like if you were seeing a movie, although this isn't obviously a different media. So I think it's that, and also working on letting go still of things. Because I know when I get really in my head, I do go back a little bit. But I think like I'm getting more confident with what I'm doing, and just having more freedom to kind of create, especially as we've been doing a lot more with like the homebrew monsters and stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, I said to you that you feel more confident in your combat sequences. Like it seems like very thoughtfully, not necessarily planned out, because you can't really plan a battle, but just like in terms of like, okay, if this then that type of scenarios that you kind of play around with in your head. Like for example, most recently the fight with Diadora, the Blood Mage, and Tyneal, where you had like that fucking force protection cage thing that was fucking sick. And like I wasn't expecting something like that at all. Like I just thought that was very interesting flavor to bring in, while also like I think what you do is like you don't let your NPCs or even your monsters sort of outshine the players. I think you always give us a chance to shine. I will say, and this is like not criticism.
No.
I think something that's improved in your comment is that your fights used to be so fucking brutal, bro. Like, it was like we can win, but it was like, God damn, Jordan. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, girl? Like, we're level 5. Like, what are you doing? But I think maybe, and please correct me if I'm wrong in this assumption, it feels like maybe when the party was bigger, and like, you know, shout outs to like our previous castmates, like I do miss them and their characters. Like all the time. But maybe when we had like a bigger party, it was maybe harder for you to balance a little bit, because you weren't sure where the lines were, whereas now it's like, well, we got 2 spellcasters and 1 tank, you have to balance it, so like we're not like TP, like borderline TPK'd every fucking time. You know?
And to your point, and a total agreement, love to our previous cast members, and they are always going to be Ampistrano family.
I mean, I still like Dimples and I share brain cell, like, you know.
Absolutely adore them, and they're still very dear friends, and all of that. I definitely agree with you, because
it sounds like we're like, yeah, we're definitely still friends with them. And then it's like, no, literally, I play games with Dimples like 3 times a fucking week.
Yeah.
So like April, like twice a week, like
we're all good.
They can't get rid of me.
And like I talk to Dimples, I run production for The Monster Within. Robo pops into streams and I say hello to him every so often, and I still talk to April when we're both having a moment, because we're both usually running around.
Robo too, twice a week.
But to your credit, I think I agree with that, because, and again, this is a major nod to April, the fact that you have a player who's like, hey, can I bring in the rules of gravity? I'm remembering the swamp fight Just like, let me just drop a brick from like really
Did it
high
at
up.
one point Aurea picked Diadora up and dropped me onto somebody?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, what's that falling damage gonna be though?
Death from above. I definitely, and again, I think that speaks to, again, the wonderfulness that is that group. But I had to think of every single scenario. So I think it stretched me mentally a little thin in terms of like, okay, this could happen, this could happen, this happened. In this scenario, in terms of having 3 people, the possibilities are still endless, but I have a better idea of what could go down in terms of that. I think it's also just me understanding your classes a little bit better, as we've talked about, like in terms of leveling and things like that. What are things that you want to do that Diadora would want to do with Stani, etc. So I think there's definitely been a lot of discussion around that, as well as me kind of double checking these cases that they're not, each battle could be deadly, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be outright, especially with 3 people.
Yeah. I don't want to be fighting for my life every time, which is like, I'm not gonna lie, in the past, those fights, I was like, I'm fighting for my, like, I'm gonna, like, I did die at one point and got revived. Like, I think everybody, like, at least everybody, like, I think almost every person in the previous cast died once, like, fully died and had to be revived. I think the only person who did it was...
Robo is the only one that didn't.
I don't think Dimples did either.
Dimples didn't. No, he came close.
Yeah.
Close.
So, like...
It's that, and I think, too, kind of, again, going back to the point of, like, letting go of expectation. Of, in my head, through kind of being in this space and being in the actual place, there's that expectation of, okay, there's got to be a fight every single episode, which to me now just seems exhausting. I like, in this season, we've had opportunities to, like, have a few episodes where there's been no fights, and then there's been fight, break, fight. I think that's a little bit more reasonable than, okay, we're gonna squeeze in a fight here or squeeze in a fight here, that were still meaningful, right? The conflicts and everything that was happening was still very meaningful, but I kind of liked that the confrontation and conflict is being presented in a different way. Like, for instance, and I know we'll get into it in a bit, I really enjoyed that moment with the standoff at the Ascidian Gate.
Oh, with douchebag goblin guy?
Yeah. I
don't remember his name. It's douchebag goblin guy.
That's one of my moments that I love, because it could have very easily turned into a fight. Could have very easily.
I need you to know, I was thinking about that, like, from like when he showed up at the end of that one episode to the all week. I was like, what are we gonna say? And Deers was like, I'm going off, bitch. Like, I can't stand these motherfuckers.
There was
this rich dude show up at the last minute, and like after the fact, everything's cleaned up. Get out of here.
And I want you to know, there was I had a fight prepped. Like, if it broke out, because I was like, just feeding off of the energy that I was getting from you, but also Diadora, and then knowing what he was going to say, which was going to undermine Tyneal the whole time, as well as kind of get into Tyneal's head a bit.
Yeah. And then here I come, like, actually.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, actually. Where the fuck was your bitch ass at this whole time? You talking a lot, but you ain't doing shit. Not Hush it. Shutties. Thank you. You better take your bitch goblin ass somewhere else, because they not here, honey. We're all covered in monster blood, and you have the nerve to ride up on this beautiful horse wearing fucking velvet clothes.
Yep.
Get out. That don't have a lick of dirt on them. If you don't get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna pick you up and throw you off a cliff. Like, get out of here.
It was pretty funny.
And I have the strength to do it, bitch. Fucking 20. Fucking 20 strength, bitch. What's up?
No, so I think having that, right, of having those battles take place, but it not always result in bloodshed.
Yeah.
I think letting that expectation go, like, sure, if it pops up in a session, cool. Because the last thing I want to do is throw combat at you just to throw combat at you, right? Like, y'all are upper level for one, and two, like, it's kind of different than when you're first starting out and like, okay, you're moving through the areas around Illipin, for instance, and a bunch of mercenaries that want to steal your shit. Like, that's different.
Okay, you know what the funny thing is? I was just thinking it would be fun as like us. I just heard this like kind of happen on like one of a podcast, an actual play podcast that I listened to, where like they got dropped into a town. It was full of like, there were some like higher level people there, but like they just kept running into like a bunch of weenies that had a little bit too much confidence and just like were like just beating the shit out, like, and they were just like, you know, like killing them off in like one hit, and that would be a lot of fun. So maybe, I don't know, maybe do something like that one time.
There's some things cooking. There's a fighting competition coming up in a couple weeks, so
I would love to just cleave through a bunch of like weenies. Just like
Diadora on her needs her rage room.
just let me fight like 100 kobolds.
I love it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot more, but yeah, I think if I can give, kind of going back to the question, and giving any advice to anyone out there too, don't try and be like other people and other DMs. Look at what you are storytelling and what your signature is. I always ask you all, for those specifically magic users, Diadora is starting to get into it with the Shiftway stuff of like, what is your magical signature? What is Diadora's Shiftweavian signature that she is leaving behind? And that is something that has popped up in conversation quite a bit. You are never going to be able to be X storyteller, right? You can only be yourself and interpret, learn from other people.
Yeah, take inspiration, but don't try to be like, I've heard like, just like a lot of people be like, oh, well, I want to be like the next Matt Mercer. I want to run a game that's going to be the next Critical Role. It's like, why?
Yeah.
They have their formulas, they have their things, but like, it's not good. Like, what works for them isn't always going to work for every single body, and you should try to just focus on just like strengthening the skills that you have and not trying to emulate someone else's style, because then you're not really being, I mean, if you're trying to emulate somebody else's style, then you're not being very unique, are you? And so you're not going to stand out.
Yeah, like, you're going to be a copycat of that, which sure, but then, you know, you're not, I think, and this is probably thanks to the therapy I've been in, but like, you're not, I think, connecting with yourself, and you're doing yourself and your players and your story a disservice. Yeah. Because you're not being also themselves.
Yeah. Yes. You should never go into doing an actual play thinking that you're going to make it big. Don't do that. Because that's how the second you think that, you're going to fail, because that's never going to happen. It's like not going to happen. Like, I think this is like people, but like there's like a cognitive dissonance a little bit where it's like, you know, these people were like already set up for success because they were like, had the means, had the connections, had all this stuff. I think most of us are starting with like nothing.
Yeah. And I think too, to add to your point, that was not their intent.
Not their intent.
No. And I think that's, for a lot of us, like, that's the reason Ampistrano was created, was honestly because I wanted to tell the stories that were not being told. And I wanted to have incredible people along for the ride to impart their joys and everything else into the game, as well as their history, if they wanted to, in a meaningful way, into this game. And if we hit it and you know, everything aligns, great. Obviously you want things to succeed, but I think success is a very broad term, and I think it's very very important to establish what it means for success to be for you. And that's one of the things that I know I've asked like the cast of like, hey, what are some goals that we want to do? What are some things that we want to be successful with just being ourselves?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wonderful. We have a question for the both of us. It's a two-parter. It's been really cool to see Diadora connecting more with her shift weavian side. For Fair, what aspects of its homebrew appeal to you for Diadora? And for me, what has inspired me to create this subclass?
Well, I think you should answer yours first, because I think what you're going to say is kind of related to what I would say.
So I had been playing with the idea of having like another way to tell stories and get information. And then it was honestly that very first session when Fair goes, I can't read. That honestly, that was like the big bang of, I've got it. I know what I want to do with this. And especially from the conversations we had going forward of wanting to challenge the kind of stigma around shadow and darkness always being evil.
Sorry, the rip is bad.
Oh, god dang it. Let me fix that real quick. I think the stigma around darkness and shadow always being connected to evil is something we have challenged as well. It's one of the joys that we have of this is that a lot of these, like even the villains, for instance, are not just black and white. There are areas of gray with it. And I think it's important to focus on that there it is. I found it. To do that. But honestly, I'd been playing with it, didn't know how I want it to come about. And then, like I said, as soon as Fair said that sentence in the very first, I want to say it was like literally the first half hour of our first session, I was like, there we go. That's it. And we're going to go from there. I think also that was inspired by, and I know Fair knows this, a little bit with Wolfwalkers, because I love wolves, and Wolfwalker is one of my favorite movies. And being able to do more with kind of a different side of spirit, since we knew that was going to be popping up in this season as well. So that's my answer.
Yeah. And so to jump onto that, I would say what appealed to me about it, I did not go into this game or this character knowing that this was going to be a thing. Like literally, when I said Diadora can't read, that was a split-second decision that I made right then and there in that moment. Like, and I wasn't anticipating Jordan to come up with like a way for Diadora to be able to read in a non-traditional way. That was just a character choice that I made, and it sort of spiraled from there. And I was actually when Jordan first like presented it to me, I was actually very like surprised by it, which I loved, because it was just like, well, you look in the shadows and you actually can see something. And I was like, what are you talking about, Jordan? Jordan, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Because literally creating this character, I was just like, I think you and I had briefly discussed Wolfwalkers, like maybe having that as an aspect of her, but I didn't know like how that was gonna look. Like we didn't discuss any further. I was like, cool, yeah, that's fine, go for it. I don't care. I'm a very, very, I think, easy player to work with, because I just kind of go with everything. I was like, okay, sure, why not? So I can't say what appealed to me about it, because literally I didn't know it was gonna be a thing until it was given to me as a thing. I didn't really have, I mean, I've had hands in it now and like kind of in its creation, but like mostly I kind of just let Jordan do what they do. Cause it's like, and if something doesn't vibe with me, I'll let them know. But for the most part, everything's vibed with me. I really love it. What I've really liked about it is, again, this alternative way of like reading, that doesn't include like words and like the traditional way that we think of as reading, right? I really like that I could still get information and still be part of like investigation stuff without having to like, go through this whole like arc of my character needs to learn how to read now. or traditional reading now. And I just like that it's just another way of getting information, but also seeing into like the past, and like pulling at other people's memories without being very invasive about that. And I do like that it's as it's evolved, it now has like this bigger connection to like the main story arc as a whole, and like the past, and like all of this like conflict and stuff. So I've really been enjoying that. Again, I don't like, I have some says in it, but for the most part I kind of just let Jordan do whatever, and I'm always like, I'm never dissatisfied with it, because it's always very interesting in how Jordan has evolved it. It made it into like this like living organism / power / whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I just like playing with it. I'm looking forward to playing with it more and learning more about it, and unlocking more of its secrets, because I say this in after every session when we're doing our Stars Wishes feels, I'm like, I want to know more, bitch. Give me more of this. Let's play for 2 more hours right now.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, obviously, one, we have a lore keeper team, so we do have an incredible like group of people working behind the scenes. They do tend to run some things past just to make sure, but specifically with all the Shiftweave stuff, it's just talking to Fair. And anytime, for instance, with the whole scene that happened earlier this season, like with the attunement to the armor and stuff, I know I wanted to I didn't want it to be like, you spend an hour and you attune to this like, absolutely legendary armor that you have that.
Yeah. I look at your attuned now.
Yeah.
No. I loved that attunement process. And what I liked about it the most was that I did not realize until after you said, okay, you're attuned to this now. I didn't even realize it was the attunement process. I thought it was just like, the shift weave, like me having a connection with the shift weave, which it was, but like I didn't realize that it was like in doing that I was connecting with the armor, especially because like when it happened, we were in like sort of like this tenuous situation with Aerie, and like trying to figure that out, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, oh well, I gotta disassociate for like 30 minutes. I'll hope y'all are I'll catch you on the other side of it. But no, I loved that. I loved it so much. It was so good, and I can't wait to like have more sequences like that, not just for Diadora, but I want to see like what the other characters experience when they're attuning to stuff.
Yeah, because believe me, there are more items like that out in the world. I think what was cool was, because I remember running the idea past you of, can we explore attunement? And then I left it at that. I didn't say anything else.
I was like, okay, sure.
So you're like, all right, whatever. I don't know what that means. I'm training, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Sure, literally, I thought that's what it was.
And then what was funny,
I think I said that to you.
For my side of the thing is like, I had it on a separate Google Doc for whenever you wore this armor, and then you were going to do a very specific thing. And then the way that it just kind of blossomed was so perfect, because I think, and we've been exploring it a bit more with this season, Shiftweave and Spirit has been so close together, intrinsically wrapped, to the point that sometimes there's confusion about which is which I did on purpose. And then this season we're learning, no, there is a distinct line. And we saw, I think, a little bit of that last season where Diadora was reaching for Aurea through the Shiftweave to get to the Veil and stuff like that, right? This was, Diadora's in her moment having a thing happen, and then Astani and Rory are having a thing happen, and they are in the same room, but they are worlds apart right now.
Yeah. They're connected, but like not like, they're like perpendicular, but not connected, like something like that, like just like they are, it's like two sides, same coin, but the coin also has like a line in it.
Yeah, pretty much. And those borders are very strong in aspects. So it was really, really cool to kind of see that play out. And then also which spirits, because I think I I looked back recently before we did our Q&A. I had
I thought you said you like did a D100 roll or something.
Yeah, I did a D100 roll, but I wrote about 50 different
Jesus fucking Christ.
NPCs with memories and different things. We had a lot of time during the break, and I kind of threw myself into writing with stuff too. So I was like, honestly, what would be good and what is going to pop out? And the interesting part was not all of them were tied to aspects of having run-ins with the Ouroboros Society. Not all of them were.
So that was just like random chance. I got all 3 that had to run it. Wow, that's fucking wild,
3
bro.
of the 27 were linked to the Ouroboros, and then the rest were not. Because I didn't want
I got the 3 that were linked just by random rolls.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the dice telling the fucking story if I've ever heard it, bro. Because it could have been some random ass dude just in a tree. I don't know. I'm making shit up now.
And which would have, brought in an interesting aspect of the world for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 27 out of 50 were tied to some interaction with the society. Maybe not dying by it, but having some interaction with the Ouroboros Society.
Wow, that's wild.
So I was like, okay.
The dice were on my side.
They wanted you to tell that story, which is, I think, really unique, specifically with the spirits that she was connecting with as well. Because I think all of them were obviously bringing something to the table, but I think in some way, shape, or form, we're also presenting a challenge, not only that Diadora was having to grapple with while doing this attunement process, but also has been grappling with throughout this series so far.
Yeah. I think too, it's like in not only like having run-ins with the Ouroboros Society, which could be like anybody, but like the 3 that I got had direct ties to Belsarion, which was also very interesting.
Yep. Yeah, there were a couple other society members that could have popped up, but it was very, like I said, interesting. It was throwbacks to Belsarion with it. So I was like, okay, this is what the dice want.
Y'all, I didn't know this. I'm learning this today.
And it's good to see that Diadora was able to get past those challenges, because as we know now with the armor, that could have gone so badly for Diadora.
Yeah. I think that sequence, like that like part of the whole Aerie thing where I was doing the attunement, I just thought that whole thing was so beautifully, like you told it so beautifully. Just like the visuals of like this, like these blackbirds and these feathers, but also like these wheat fields and whatnot, like, and just traveling across this path, or down this path rather. I thought it was like very, very, it was told in such a very visual way. So I did really enjoy it a lot. I'm like, oh my god, give me more armor, give me more shit to attune to be honest. Though I feel like, because I mean, I don't know if the audience knows this, but the armor has secrets.
Yes,
it has like secret powers, and I only have unlocked one of them. So I'm just like, well, unlocking some of the other 2 require attunement stuff, because I'm like, let's go, like I'll do it. Like I just want more of that like sequence.
With the armor too, I wanted to create something that would grow with you. I think a lot of it was actually because, and to our point, I know we were just talking about BG3 before we went live. You don't really have an armor for the most part that stays with you. You shift based upon going with like what is the better AC, which I think is common across games. But we're at the point now, you're halfway through leveling, if we're going all the way to 20, that I feel like having something that grows with you makes more sense. Especially a legendary item that is tied specifically to something not relevant, but tied within the origin of the world, for instance.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be meaningful, and I wanted to explore that, especially since we've also been exploring with spirit and stuff like that, like people's confidence, how they're feeling, etc. So it is an armor that kind of feeds into all of that to explore not only the characters, but the story that we're telling on a different level. And I will tease, there are ways that you could get some more information from the armor itself.
Okay. Here's a question. This is a cheeky question.
Sure.
You said that the armor will grow with me. Does that mean that the AC of it will also increase?
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially, yeah. You just gotta, much like the moon that it's been named after, you need to learn the other phases that it's attached to.
Okay, fine.
So sorry. Diadora has to do some character growth along with it.
Fuck.
No, that's.
I mean, I feel like my strength being maxed out is character.
A little bit. Listen, I'm of the mindset too.
My muscles are bigger now.
I'm of the mindset too that I feel like, and maybe this is controversial, maybe this is a hot take, but I feel like you should not be tied to being at 20 and that's your max. If you are really good at something, you should be able to. Am I saying you will have a 30 strength at any point? No. But will I say that you will maybe surpass 20 if all the things align? Potentially.
Hey, chat. Petition Jordan to give me the belt of cloud giant strength. So my strength could be 20. I think it's 29.
No.
Why not? That would be so cool.
I mean, if it pops up,
I think everybody agrees that would be super fucking cool for me to have 20.
I don't know. I'm not seeing that pop up in chat right now, so I don't know.
Chat? Fucking chat? Come on now. I thought we were friends. Wow.
So, I don't know.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
I quit.
No. But no, and to your point, I'm excited because when I was creating the weapons and the armor as well, these legendary items and things, it was, yes, with all of you in mind, but it was also because, and I know I've kind of teased it to the cast, but it's actually been popping up more in my head as I've been seeing like ripple effects from this campaign happen. The world is still moving. Do I have a campaign 2 idea in mind? Yes. It is nowhere near fruition right now. We got so much more of this campaign to do, but those could pop up. They're out in the world. There are a bunch of them. So, who's to say? But right now I'm having a lot of fun just kind of exploring this campaign and these items that we're running into. And I'm curious of what's going to manifest for Astani and for Rory Blackstone as well. So, yeah. Wonderful. We'll move on to the next question that we have. This one is for you, Fair.
Oh my goodness.
This season has been jam-packed with a ton of lore. What has been a piece of lore from the season that has intrigued you the most as a player?
I think I touched on it in the last question, but like definitely just like the history, like all of like the stories that are held within the armor has been very intriguing to me, just because you're just like seeing events from like literally somebody else's point of view has been very interesting and also very insightful in like what's going on. I've also really enjoyed learning bits and pieces about I literally can't think of what they're called, like where Astani's from, like the temple.
Oh, the Veil Temple
district and stuff. The Veil Keepers, and just how that works, because it seems very mysterious to me. And I've like, gosh, I've loved that. I've loved learning like this backstory about Blackstone, where he was part of like this like fucking secret spy society, and like this like information, like, and it makes so much sense. But like in the moment when it popped up, I was like, wait, what? Because like Blackstone, from my point of view, from Diadora's point of view, like, yes, this is a person, they are very effective in combat, like they can be sneaky, yes, whatever, but like this is also a person who like goes around fixing things and helping people, and it's like there's like other side to Blackstone that like nobody knew about. It was so fascinating to me that I I'm so interested in learning more, and I think the next session we are going to be kind of dipping into it a little bit. But I just like all of the lore, just generally the lore of Ampistrano has always been intriguing to me. And like I said, whenever we do our Stars Wishes feels, I'm like, I just want to learn more. I just need to know more. Like, I want to see more. I need it. Because it's like, I'm so fascinated by everything that's being told. But I do like the armor this season. It's been the armor, like in like the history of all the people who've worn the armor in the past, and like what they've gone through and what they've experienced. That lore, loved it. Astani, the Veil Keepers, all that stuff, fucking love it. Need more. Blackstone, need more. Like, I just need more. Also, just like, this isn't necessarily lore, just like in terms of like plot, which sort of feeds into the lore. Just like, what the fuck's going on in that goddamn castle? You know? What's going on? Like, I need to know so much. And like the lore always, like, the lore is what is one of the many things that like keeps me coming back. And just like, the world that you've built, Jordan, is just so fucking fascinating. Like, I do want to know more about, like, because Ampistrano is just the continent, right? There's other continents in this, so I'm like, okay, well, what's going on this other continent? Like, we were told that there's like some bullshit out in the sea on like an island or something. Like, what's over there? What's that? Like, I just like literally every session, y'all. This is not a lie. I come out being like, I need to know more right now. Like, I just need to get to the next session, because then I'll learn more about what's going on. Like, that's literally me after every session, because it's all just so good. But those three things are the ones that really stand out to me, because they're like more tied to like, they're tied to the world at large, but also just tied to like the characters themselves. And I'm like, I love the player characters, and Diadora is maybe one of my favorite characters that I've ever played. But like, I always want to know more about my fellow players and their characters. So
yeah,
definitely more of that.
It's been really cool to see what pieces of lore you all will latch onto, I will say, as a storyteller. I do like, and we do this, and you all do an incredible job of it, of, hey, I'm not just gonna explain everything that I just went through. We're gonna live through it, like be in the moment. Because I think sometimes with lore, it can sometimes just be a little bit of a overwhelming of, I'm gonna drop 20 pages of knowledge on you on what happened, and the DM's gonna talk of, and I feel like we have our own kind of mark of, with Shiftweave or with Spirit or whatever it is, you all having an opportunity to explore that and live through that, see those things play out. So, but I never know, truthfully, if what is going to pop out, when it's going to, if it's going to, and if it's going to be something you're going to latch onto. I know, for instance, with the armor, representing a different side of the Shiftweave that was not a pleasant side, I would say.
Right.
That was one that I was concerned about. Could go the wrong way, but I think if we are talking about, and I think this goes into something we're going to get into in the next question, if we are wanting to have representations of, not representations, that's not the word I want to use. If we want to have symbolism, right, and we want this to be real, and as we've talked about with the world so far, it's not black and white, it's not cut and dry and that's it. Everything is a gray area. And the Shiftweave has also grown and learned.
Yeah.
But it has made mistakes, as have the people that follow the Shiftweave. They have also made mistakes. And I think it's important to face that head on versus hiding it. Now, was it buried deep within the armor? Yes. But that was also a healing process as Diadora was going through with the armor. The armor itself was growing and changing from that as well. So,
I mean, ultimately, like the Shiftweave, like any element, it's sort of neutral, but it can also be like it's kind of a living organism, but also an element, and it like kind of, my interpretation at least was it absorbs things from other people. It's kind of like a baby where it's like it's gonna learn those behaviors from you. So if you're kind of fucking up, it's gonna learn that behavior and emulate that behavior. And I think, again, this is just my interpretation. Like with other people, people who have worn it in the past, like maybe there was like a bit of selfishness, a bit of like hunger and like wanting power and stuff that caused it to be not corrupted, but like think that was normal and okay.
Yeah. Swayed.
And now, it's swayed. And now Diadora's like, we ain't doing that shit. If you try to do that shit with me, like, it's not gonna go well for you. So, and it seems like you need me. So cool it. But it's also like fascinating to see how, because we've talked about it literally being malleable, like able to be used, like it once was like a cloak and now it is armor.
Yeah.
And so just to know that it has like that just speaks to it being like easily influenced by others and what the others' intentions are. So
yeah, it's fascinating. It's a write-up for sure, and like I said, I'm very excited to see what you get into in regards to that as well. But definitely that lore was one, I know on the opposite side of things, I was like, this is either going to be really good or this is going to be really, really bad. And I might need to like shift some things, but I know Pherin and I will have that conversation about it and stuff. But I think it just added a whole layer to it, especially since we've been kind of seeing, and as pieces are coming together, someone from the Ouroboros use the shift weave.
Yeah, instead of spirit, which is what other people have been using. So it is fascinating to see like these aspects of the world being used poorly by other people, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of going back to like that whole like we don't want darkness being seen as evil, because it's, and I'll say I'm the one who pushed for that, because I was just like, I don't like in media where it's like, well, it's dark, it's bad, shadow, it's bad, like, because it feels very racially motivated in many ways, because like a lot of like belief systems and religions that are like primarily practiced by people of color are usually seen as like bad in like media and stuff, and I do my best, and like a lot of things that I like, a lot of media that I take place in, like that I either take part in or I consume or like whatever, I do my best to try to like shy away from that, just because it's just so fucking first thought. It's just so fucking first thought to me. Like, it's like, oh, dark is bad. It's like, no, dark isn't bad. Dark is just mysterious, and there's so many things that you can find in the dark that are beautiful and good. Like, you just have to search for it and stop being a fucking bit like a fucking like a dick bag about it, you know, like just like maybe be a little bit more open-minded. So like I do appreciate that like there is like where like spirit would be seen like I think in other media, so like, oh, this is light, this is good, like we have seen it be used for like bad, and like shadow, we've mostly seen it being used for good, but then there are people out there who use it for bad. Like it's just like it's a neutral thing. It's like it's based upon your intention and not about it like where what the actual source of it is. So,
and I think that discussion, like I said, it was very much aligned with what I was hoping for with Amp as a whole, and this story that we're telling of like exploring the gray areas. The heroes are not going to be heroes 100% of the time. I've said it before, and I stand by it. And this might be why, one of the reasons I also gravitate to playing Dirge Resist and BG3, for instance, is I love a good character that dips into the opposite side and having that conflict. I think it is so interesting, because I think in that when they go to that other side, they often reveal things about themselves that they may ignore or not realize were a thing for them. like gravitating towards rage or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, that is so fascinating. And that plays too with the villains. All of the villains, Belsarion included, truthfully are those morally gray. And because we don't know that much about them, it's very easy to paint them as, oh, they are just the stereotypical movie villain of like, oh, let me destroy the world. No. I can tell you from, sorry, go on, Fair.
No, you go first.
I can tell you, and I'm sure it'll pop up, especially when they have a bit more, you all have time, because you have Belsarion's journals.
Yeah, we have so much. We just haven't had a chance to read anything. I was looking at what Diadora's my character sheet because I have some like inventory like notes in there, just real quick stuff, and it was like what we have: Ares' journal, maps of Jorix, all this other shit. I was like stuff written in Goblin, give to Rory, and I was like haven't been able to do any of that shit because it's just been go.
Yep.
You know, like so I have to like remember to do that. But I think also like we've also already seen glimpses of Belsarion not being like that cookie cutter like tee twirling your mustache type of guy, just because like in the flashbacks. Going back to the armor, like we did see where he was an outsider brought into the Shift Weavians, like given like comfort and shelter and all that stuff, and he still turned bad. So it's like, what the fuck is up with you? Like, what is it? Like, what is it that happened to you that you can't even like? The comfort that you're given wasn't enough for you.
I think too, to your point, it makes looking back at season 2. Diadora dying to Belsarion even wilder. Even wilder of like, oh wow, that like because I did a recent rewatch to kind of refresh my memory a little bit, and just to make sure that like what I was saying was kind of what I have when you eventually get to Belsarion's journals and stuff aligns. And so I was going through it again and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's especially, I think it's even more poignant that I died but I'm still alive, because other Shift Weavens that he's faced in the past, they've died by his hand, including and now here I am wearing the armor that you killed these people in, and I'm still alive after you killed me. So like I'm gonna become his sleep, if he's still alive out there, I'm gonna become his sleep paralysis demon. Like he's not getting a wink of rest now, because I will be there hovering around the corner with my claws just on the wall. Like,
the nightmare waiting.
Like, hey bitch, like go to sleep real quick. Go to sleep.
So what you're
so
saying
I can sit on
is
your chest.
You're gonna be his paralysis demon. Gotcha.
That's what I said. I'm gonna be a sleep paralysis demon. That's been honestly, that's kind of been my phrase this week. I used it in, this is off topic, but you know where I work. People in the audience, you don't know where I work, but so this is gonna be kind of a conversation that means nothing to y'all, really. But we've been dealing with this customer who like keeps emailing over and over and over again. And it's like just wild ass shit, right? Just like stuff, a lot of stuff unrelated to us, and like literally everybody on the team's been like, "What the fuck?" So I'm like, I will deal with this. This is like even Latanya. Like Latanya had sent her a letter, and I was like, no, this is my thing now, because this is what I'm focused on this. And I like wrote in the group chat, I was like, you might see some emails from this customer. It's because I sent her emails in reply, and so she might follow up with them. You don't have to worry about responding to her, because I'm going to be her sleep paralysis demon. She cannot get rid of me. I'm going to go. Like I am going to like. If you want to make the scene, we can go ahead and make a movie. Like, and I'm real polite, real professional, but it's just like that's just been like my phrase. I'm like, I am her sleep paralysis demon. Like, this is me. This is my thing. And I even told, because we have like people working on Saturdays now, and I was like, listen, if you see an email from her, feel free to respond, but just copy and paste whatever I wrote in the last ones and send it. Because she had sent an email to like our direct inbox, and then I responded, and she stopped emailing our direct inbox and started emailing like the other team's inbox. But I have access to that, so I'm just like, okay, no, you can't. You're not gonna get away from me. You are my problem now, and I'm your problem now. So let's go. Sorry, completely off topic,
No,
but like
I think it's relatable. And like I said, going back to Pulsarian and stuff, I think it's important to do that, because otherwise, again, you have a very kind of challenging to those of you that are watching out there that may be players, but also storytellers, DMs, whatever it is that you want to call yourself in terms of that, is to have that other level. Something. And in Belsarian's mind, he thought he was doing the right thing. Everybody has a very plausible reason for why they are doing things. But it is a different side of the coin completely.
Yeah. I think there's like, I think everybody, there's like that phrase of like, every villain thinks they're the hero of their story, right?
Exactly.
But it's just like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and like say like, well, Diadora's definitely a hero. I mean, like for me she is, but like maybe to somebody else she's not.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like, that's just how it is, just in general in the world at large. But like there's a difference between like doing the right thing and wronging somebody on accident, but also making amends for that, and like wronging a lot of people because you think you're doing the right thing and not feeling any sort of guilt or like, and it's having too much confidence is the difference, because being so confident in what you're doing that you won't listen to anybody else's point of view, I think that's what makes you the villain. Like in general, that's what makes you the villain. Like if you're so confident in yourself that you don't even take a second to think about any consequence or listen to anybody else's point of view, that's the difference. Like Diadora, if Diadora was to like, somebody were to tell like, hey, I know you did this and you like were doing the right thing, but you also harmed XYZ, I think Diadora would feel bad about that. Yeah. And she would want to make amends for that. And same with like Astani and Rory too, right? But like with Belsarian, like he's doing all these things, harming people, literally killing people, and he thinks he's doing the right thing. But like you have to look back and see the wake that you've left behind to know if you're doing the right thing, in my opinion. So,
I agree. It's confidence, and I think that way I view alignment is how selfish are you?
Yeah.
How selfish are you?
Yeah. There has to be a level of doubt in the things that you do. Because for me, that means like you're actually thinking about your impact.
Which, again, I know we keep talking about the armor, but the armor is so cool. We did see in one of the memories one situation where someone who was killing one of the armor wearers, user, did seem to kind of doubt.
Yeah.
A bit.
They didn't, it seemed like, if I recall correctly, it seemed like they did not want to do it.
Yeah. Which, again, very interesting then, of like what is happening there. So yeah, there's so many layers, y'all. It's been a lot of fun throughout the entire series.
That noble sorry. I bet that noble goblin thinks you're an asshole, not a hero. Well, you know, I don't think a wealth hoarder should have an opinion.
That's true.
A wealth hoarder who does nothing to help the people, and in fact, I mean, might actually be the person harming, or like one of the people harming everybody, doesn't get to have an opinion when you're literally living on top of a mountain that looks down and literally is a shadow over the poorest people of your city. Like you don't get to have an opinion, my guy. Like, well, I might be an asshole, but like, you know, I'd rather be an asshole than whatever the fuck you are.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, because we've actually seen Diadora be the villain in someone else's story. Back in season 2, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy hated Diadora, and that transformed him.
Which is weird, because like they were friends, or at least like close acquaintances. But it was like, hated Diadora, but like, and I don't begrudge him that at all, because like from his point of view, like, yeah, she never responded to his letters. She never reached out. But it's like from her end, it was like, I never got anything from you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know you were out here. Like, I had no idea. Like, because Diadora is the type of but like that was also like the influence of like Belsarian's powers and all that. But like can't blame Jeremy for feeling that way because of how manipulated he was.
Yeah.
And how isolated he was that let him be vulnerable enough to be manipulated, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because like, yeah, and I mean, Diadora felt and still feels very bad about that because like for her, it's just like, I wish I had been here sooner.
Yeah.
If I had even been like a couple of days here earlier, maybe I could have stopped this. And I think she even said something like that around that time, but like, yeah, like she doesn't take those types of things lightly, even though she, in that instance, she didn't really have anything to do with it. She was just sort of like, she was the scapegoat.
Yeah.
But she still feels guilty for it.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's fascinating with all of this. So, wonderful. We have a question for me. And y'all, please, if you have questions, I am almost caught up to actually Sphinx's question. So if you all have questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat and either Fair or I will grab them. But we are closing in on, currently we have 4 questions left. So take your time, but if not, no worries. This is a question to me. Jorix is shown to be an advanced, fantastical city. What has been important for you to show this arc with the backdrop of Jorix? Well, Fair, as she so eloquently intends to do, already put her finger on the pulse of the situation of wanting to also get into classism and having... Fair's like, oh yeah. We talked about it with the cast a bit. And I know I've talked about it before when I've been streaming or I've been on panels, how we play a lot of these storytelling games, I think, is a lot of ways for all of us to process the world. And don't know where everybody is in the world right now, but for a lot of us, things are on fire. And it's very frustrating to not be able to do anything. Or have the ability to do what we would maybe like to.
Or be like very limited in the things that we can do just because, Yeah.
So it was very interesting, right? We've had several backdrops. Illipin, which was kind of a great kind of starter place, but it's not a kingdom. It is a bustling city, don't get me wrong, but the government hands off for the most part, and there aren't too many issues because there is so much farmland and care. It's a very different vibe than the kind of always moving forward Jorix, for instance. Then we were in the swamps, and that gave a different perspective of people helping people and having that perspective. Then we were in the mountains for a bit, and it was in a desolate area. And just the loss was the backdrop there. So having a full city kingdom is really unique to have. I think part of it too is it's really interesting to be telling these types of stories as an adult versus taking those stories in as kids. You know, if you look back at a lot of the fairy tales, because it's like, okay, you know, the kingdom, everyone is happy. Is that actually true? Is everyone actually happy?
I mean, if everyone was happy, then there would be no need for like Rapunzel to have been kidnapped and put in a tower. I'm just saying, like, if there was actually some equality, like there would be no need for like all this other shit.
And kind of looking at it through that lens of like, okay, I feel like specifically our generation too has kind of been brought up with the mindset of like breaking out of, what's the word I want to use? Breaking out of the norm. Kind of speaking up and saying, hey, this isn't right. What's happening? And not being afraid to say that that is wrong. So the duality, and specifically, I'm remembering, hi Salem, the moment when you all were in Aries' house and being able to, in the Strand, which is not it's a historical section. It was the first road that was ever paved in Jorix, but it's in such a desolate state. And people are living there, but they're not thriving there.
Yeah.
And then to have in the kitchen, I think it was in Clara's kitchen, looking out the window, you can see the castle perfectly positioned up on that, just showing that visually so worlds apart. And having, people, good people and bad people, that are just trying to survive and get by. But doing it in a way that's done with sensitivity. I did not want, because again, there is so often a lot of the media that we consume, stigma kind of, and stereotypes that are kind of thrown out with this stuff. And I want to, me being acutely aware that I am a queer white woman, but wanting to handle these stories, and a lot of it has been through conversations with you all, as well as our Lore Keeper team as well, of how we want to go through this sensitively, so that way it's not tokenized in any way, shape, or form. It's impacting everybody on some level, but just some people have power and others do not.
Like a reflection of, like, I know a lot of times we're like, I play this game to escape, but like I think, and I mean, I'm one of the people who say that, who says that. But like I do think that, like, in terms of this, it was important for us to have something of a reflection, or at least some similarities to real life, because this, like, I also think that telling these stories is a way for us to help us process things like that.
Agreed.
In, like, when in a safe space without like going over other people's boundaries. And like for this, I think it's very hard in any setting to have, like, I mean, I don't know if it's hard. It's probably easier to just have a kingdom where it's like everybody's happy and everybody gets blah blah blah. But it's just like, then why is it a monarchy though? Because there's still a power imbalance ultimately. There's always going to be some kind of weird imbalance. And I think, as much as I would like to fantasize that, I think it's better to show the disparity, and like maybe even give people like a story that's like, maybe this isn't how it's going to happen in real life, but it's nice to have a story where what we want to happen is actually does happen. Like I felt that way in watching Scandal. There was a season where they had like I'm
sorry, you were doing a very fair look.
I know. I don't want to. I'm just trying to think of a way to not invoke. There was a person running for president that had a lot of similarities to somebody right now. But in that story, he did not win. And like, we want that. At that point when that happened, I needed that kind of story. Or like, there was another episode of Scandal where like they basically like kind of told the story of like a lot of young Black men who get like murdered in cold blood for no reason, like Michael Brown. I think it was kind of directly more Michael Brown, but also Trayvon Martin. They had an episode like that, but the person who did it did not get away with it. And like, I think that like we need stories like that, because stories like that, like, even though it's not a reflection of it's not what happened in real life, right? But it's like, I do think that we need those types of stories to sort of bolster us a little bit. Yeah. To like, hey, you know what? It didn't happen, but it's also not impossible. Like, under the right circumstances, these things are not impossible. And like, I'm the type of person, like, I need those types of stories, because otherwise, like, I'm just in a miasma of like despair all of the fucking time. So,
I agree.
I like that we're telling this story, and like, yes, like if at any point we're not being respectful, like definitely like let us know, because we want to be. We want to be sensitive about like these sorts of scenarios, but at the same time, like we need to let it out somehow.
Yeah. I think
I got all this pent up aggression.
I think too, it's interesting with this season, right? Comparing Illipin to Jorix, because when you were in Illipin, obviously you were lower level, and you weren't as established as you are now, having those connections, etc. In Jorix, you have those connections, but you're also seeing within those connections they are also struggling with the positions that they're in. And I think that's a very real thing that's happening nowadays of, I have this ability. I can only do what I'm able to. Tyneal, for instance, he is only able to do what he can in his position.
Yeah.
Does he subvert that by then being himself and not commander? Yeah, he does. That's why he gives money, you know, where he can to Jorix versus Allegris, because he knows Allegris is fine in his mind. So he's got family back there, and they're established too. But, you know, that is him as Tyneal, not the commander in charge of the counter giving.
But it's nice to see though, like this, like somebody who is in power, who has money, actually not even like, yes, has money, but like can give to others and still be comfortable, you know, like, and like that's something that we don't see very much of in real life. Like, not to bring this back to real life, y'all, but unfortunately we have to. Like, for example, like Greta Thunberg comes from a rich family. She spends all of her time and her money going to fight for people who are disenfranchised and don't got shit. All of the time, which is to me like a very large subversion of like the other rich, like millionaire, billionaire people that we see that just sort of hoard all their money to their fucking selves all the fucking time and don't do anything, or like will like give like a little bit just to make themselves look good, but ultimately you're not really making any sort of impact on anybody's lives, because you are still kind of the number one perpetrator of why we have all these fucking issues. Like, you know. So like I like that, like in that moment between Goblin Dude and Tyneal, like it was obvious who was on the right side of history and who was on the wrong side, because one person was literally running himself ragged trying to help the people of the city and help to clean up after a disaster, and the other person was sitting on a horse coming down to criticize the person who was actually helping to clean up after a disaster. Like,
and it's been interesting too, like for instance with the moment and this was in one of the flashbacks to, sorry, Salem is jumping around,
no, I see him, we see him,
to Astani in the secret meeting that she had. You know, there was a bring up of like, hey, there is going to be an anonymous fund that's being given, and then I think literally Astani got another of her she didn't want to ask, she got one of her other people on the panel to ask instead of like,
I remember, she's like,
how much and who?
I remember that. I remember, because that was so funny to me. She's like, ask a question, ask a fucking question.
Who
like,
and how much? And it's Tyneal, and there is that humbleness too, because I think, to your point,
he doesn't have to have his name on it.
There is so much a performative nature that is present today.
Yes.
Especially since everything is so like online and documented because of that. And here is someone who is actually like, here's a little bit of a fallback behind. Tyneal hates being in the public.
Oh, no, we got that. We absolutely got that.
His dream, honestly, he would love to just go back to Allegris and honestly retire. That's what he would enjoy doing. Welcome on in, Raiders. We're doing a Q&A right now, but hope you had a great stream.
Hi, welcome in. No, I think we all got that, because like that dude is like, oh, I got, like when he was like walking by himself back from the castle with no guards,
Yep.
It's like, you can tell he's like, I just want to be alone.
I just want to be alone.
He's like, I just want, like, I'm overstimulated. Like, and it's like, sir, you can't be alone. Get your ass where you're going.
That's just stubbornness too on his part. But
yeah. But he's definitely like, yeah.
Yeah, he's very peace-minded. But that doesn't mean everything being perfect. He just wants things to be in a place where the majority of people can be happy. And I've said it behind the scenes, is he a little bit of me sometimes feeling like I have to spread myself thin in the past? Yes, a little bit of that. So it's very interesting to be on the opposite side of it now and kind of see it play out.
Now you see what I deal with all the time.
I'm so sorry.
Now you get it. I'm, what's her face? Aurora, what is her name? The dwarf.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at her name right now.
I think it starts with an A. I could be wrong.
Let me look it up.
I'm wrong, aren't I?
No, I think you're close, which means you're not wrong.
But like, yeah, and like having that person there who's like, if you don't go the fuck to sleep right now, I'm gonna choke your ass out. Like, Jordan, now you understand how we feel. Now you understand.
Oh boy, let me see. I'm close. I'm almost at the point where we were in the sessions. There's too many. If you're like, Tori, you don't know, why don't you know everyone's name? There's so many names in my head, y'all. You have no idea.
Way too many.
There's so many names. Like, it's real bad, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, I mean, Dimples also has like a list, like a doc now of stuff. I'm just like, which is like, this is kind of off topic, but like Dimples, like when he was like, yeah, I have Word doc now. I'm like a G doc now of like names. I'm like, wow, like you're taking it. That's how you know your DM's taking this seriously.
Yeah, there's so many. Honestly, if I could, this is a future thing I want to get. Hyacinth is the name.
There's an A in that. I was right.
There's an A. That's why I was like, you're close. You're not wrong. You're close.
There's an A in it.
There's an A in it. But yeah, I want to eventually get like artwork for a lot of these characters and just have a database to just kind of pull up, which I think would be cool.
Yeah.
But no, them and Hyacinth, Tiny on Hyacinth, I love them so much. Goals. Yeah, they just very much like Diadora are doing this because they want to create a better world, which is, I think, a lot of at least our community's mindset of like leaving the world better than how we found it in some capacity. But also at the same time, they are people. They have wants and dreams outside of that too.
Which is okay.
Which is totally okay. And their honest to God thought is Hyacinth wants to go. Here, I will share a little bit. Hyacinth wants to just go on a fishing trip. A little picnic
that's
with Tiny.
Really cute.
And that's all she wants.
She wants to just go camping.
Just have like an afternoon of him not having to worry about stuff.
Yeah.
And like having
so unrealistic, he would still worry.
for real. I don't think he's gonna I think he'll be able to better manage it. But I think that is just part of who he is. That worry is always gonna be there.
Yeah.
That is someone that has had responsibility thrust upon him from a young age.
Well, it's also somebody who like takes responsibility seriously and actually puts thought into like what those responsibilities entail.
Yeah. It's been interesting too, because I've gotten a few questions of like, well, he wants to be the next king, and just reading some YouTube comments or messages.
What part of his personality gave anybody that idea?
He does not want that. Nope.
He would literally be like, nah.
I think honestly that would give him an aneurysm at the thought of it. Truthfully.
Yeah. I think if he were to become king, he would immediately dissolve the throne and maybe like implement a council.
Yeah. And a more effective council, because there is obviously one, but one that is more
I don't I don't consider those people to be a council.
Oh, I know you don't. That's
it's just a bunch of rich people like jerking themselves off.
And having an elected member from the communities, like the different districts, I think would be important.
Yes.
To have
a real democracy.
Right?
Maybe even a socialist one. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Scary.
Scandal here.
Oh my god. A leftist socialism utopia. Oh my god. Anyway.
Well, this is great that we're talking about Tyneal, because the next question is for you and actually involves Tyneal. Diadora has been able to reunite with Commander Tyneal and her brother as well this season. What has it meant to Diadora to finally reconnect with her roots?
It has meant, basic answer, it's meant a lot to her. I think in like as the seasons have progressed, and especially in this one, like she has not had much comfort, and she gets comfort from, and not to say like her party members aren't able to like comfort her, but like feeling outside of her element, feeling like the weight of like her guilt and her regret and all that. It was like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when like you're feeling some type of way and you're just like, I want to go home, like, or like, I need my mom, like, you know, when you're in like that, like, I need so-and-so, like, I need my grandma, I need my aunt, like, whoever is like that person for you. That's how Diadora's been feeling lately. And so like to have these people who are like from her past, also part of her present and her future. Oh my god, Salem, come on now. But to like have these connections that are outside of this conflict, like she's needed that, because she needs like somebody with like some outside perspective to ground her, instead of having people who are like in it with her, like, because it like she's, I think one of her fears is like not being able to see the forest for the trees, you know, like not seeing, only seeing one part, not seeing a whole, and like feeling kind of stuck in these negative feelings. So she just like being back with these people who knew her before all of this and who know her. It's like just been what she's needed. Like it's been like a need for her, and maybe a need that she didn't know would help her until she like got it, you know?
Yeah. I think to add on to that, especially with where she was starting at the beginning of the season, because like, yes, obviously you were with Rory, but figuring Rory out, Rory was still somewhat of a stranger compared to like Blackstone, for instance.
Yeah. Having
that support be there, and okay, hey, my people are here. Like my persons are here, of like, okay, who do I run to when I just need to shit talk about the world, but also just need to process. And I can just let things go because they understand, or as Tyneal is trying to do, tries to understand with him, even trying to learn shift weaving and stuff. So like, you know, they're trying in their own ways to be, I think the question that a lot of us very neurospicy people ask each other of, what is the best way that I can support you in this situation? Yeah, and like not knowing what to say, but like kind of knowing like instinctively, oh, I need that. That's what I need. Yep. I need this. Give me this right now. It's one of those, it's like for Diadora, home is where the heart is for her. And so her home, like, even though like she has found home with her traveling companions for sure, but like her actual home is with like her brother and her tribe, and like to Tyneal and with Tyneal to a certain extent, like all of these people who like have always like embraced her for being her, and not like, and to the point where like in some ways a little bit of overprotectiveness embracing her for her. But like, it was just one of those things where it's like, I need to go home right now, or else. Okay, like I'm gonna like here's a peek into my life. I literally had a meltdown like this in January, where I was like, I want to go home right now, and I called my mom, and my mom was like, girl, did you do, because something happened. I got my tires replaced. Did I tell you this? I think so. I got my tires replaced because I needed to, because they were like old as dirt. And then literally the day after I got my tires replaced,
I hit a curb too hard and I got a fucking flat tire and I was already overwhelmed and overstimulated and I had a fucking meltdown and I called my mom because I didn't know what to do and she was just like, okay, like, you know, I'm sorry you're going through this. Did you call emergency roadside service? No, I forgot that I had that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Bye, thank you. Bye. Like, it's just one of those things where like you kind of need that person to like kind of ground you. And that's what Diadora needed. So like she needed people to, like the people who could ground her to ground her. And so like it has just meant the world. And also like especially now in this season where like she is connecting to like her heritage and the shift weave, like meeting up with her brother and to Tyneal to a certain extent that he's sort of in it too. It has just like a deeper meaning for me because it's like I have these people who've like maybe know more than I do and can teach me and help me get in touch with this aspect so that I can better help other people, you know?
Yeah.
So
it was important to me too, because I actually rolled to see where the Shiftweave tribe would be at this point. And it was, like I said, honestly, it came down to the dice rolls wanting to say, because they were either going to be here or Allegris. And it came down to them being here. But what's cool too is, and I know I've talked about this with you and a few other people as well, each of the seasons we've had has been a different chapter in the story that is Ampistrano. And within that chapter, each of you has had a different arc. Kind of exploring your own thing, because I think it's important to everybody have something going on without it feeling overloaded. To be able to explore those different things and having a chance to see a bit more of Diadora, for instance. I know we joke that I've targeted you this season, but there's just been...
And you have, and you did. And
but
you did.
Honestly, there's just been so much that's been waiting for you. When it comes to the story elements that you've been hitting, as well as also the character choices that you've been making. There's just been so much that has been literally, to quote you, a sleep paralysis demon waiting around the corner to go.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here. She finally admitted it. She is actively targeting me.
Nope.
This is not fair to me and my child, Diadora. So, like, everybody...
Because Rory and Astani have stuff too. It's just your stuff has been, specifically with everything that's going on, yours has been more prevalent. But we've already seen some things happening with Rory, some things happening with Astani. It's just, you all dove in head first on the Diadora stuff. So I was like, all right, well.
I literally not, like, that's not something that I don't think I would ever, like, purposely spotlight myself.
For sure. And I didn't want it to come across that way.
Where it's like, oh, okay, I guess it's me now. I guess I'm in the fucking chair right now.
No,
I'm getting my knees busted in, misery.
And
style.
I didn't want it to feel that way either. Of like, okay, this is now like the Diadora show or the Astani show. I wanted it to come across as everyone is having, and the cast does a great job of giving everyone an opportunity to share that spotlight, give the spotlight to each other, etc.
I think
Diadora
I will say sometimes. I think I do say sometimes. Okay, I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna shut up now. Somebody else
you do, and I'm like, no, like it's
fine.
I
don't want to talk anymore. I'm tired of people looking at me.
Don't look at me. No, and the thing is, like, I never want any of you to feel like that, because the truth is, none of you. Whenever you. Honestly, I'm going to challenge you, Fair. You always challenge me with wonderful things, and I grow so much as a person. I'm going to challenge you very gently, if that's okay. Every time you say, oh, I'm going to stop talking because that little brain gremlin is going off if I'm talking too much, just picture me not allowing myself to be at the table, which is something you have helped me work on the last few years.
Time out. I didn't ask for my words to be turned against me. That's not fair. Like, Dad did not agree to that. Time out.
I asked for your consent if I'm going to challenge you gently, and you said,
time out. No, I narrowed my eyes suspiciously. I
just want, if you just need that little help, allow yourself to be at the table fair. I want to hear what you have to say. If you talk too much, I will mute you. No, I'm kidding. I will just move the seat.
That would be very funny, though. That would be very funny. It's like, and you're done.
And you're done.
Okay.
No, I will. There are ways that we can move the scene along and do other things. And there are going to be episodes where Rory's going to be more of a moment, or Astani is going to be more a moment, or even like one of the NPCs piping up a bit more. So like again, I'm going to just gently challenge. It's up to you. You to do that. Because you're not the only one that does it. Sin does it too, and I notice Maz does it too. And I'm just like, no, like fine. You were literally cutting your the story off when it's like really getting good, and like just allow it, just let it go.
Yeah, I'm still listening, but the Princey boy came in the room, so now I have to close the door because he doesn't do that.
The baby. No worries. It's a perfect timing because we're moving on to our second to last question, unless any other questions come on in. This is a question to the both of us of what has been our favorite moment from season 4 so far and why.
Favorite moment. Okay, you go first.
Okay. It's very difficult. I'm going to just say, because you're making me choose which of my children I really think they're wonderful. Honestly, and I think I touched upon it before, the conflict and confrontation scene after the Ascidian Gate fell was really interesting to me, because that felt like such a blending of different themes and things that have been building up. You've been hearing about this other council member for a few sessions now, few weeks in for us, and to finally face them, and it's this person, as you've mentioned, on a picturesque horse, being able to do that, and then, like I said, just not knowing how it was going to be going down, if there was going to be a fight, there were so many opportunities there, and then just the layers. It was like diving into like a novel, because there was just so much on present level that was happening, and then Sin was doing a thing, you were doing a thing. There was just so much happening. But like to everybody else, it was like, okay, this is just a standoff between a couple people, and that's it. Mm-hmm. The layers with that. I'm actually going to tack on and add the other scene. I think that's a close second would be when that break, when Astani and Rory were helping Aerie, and you were doing the armor stuff.
Yeah.
Both really interesting to me. So.
I mean, I've said before that the armor stuff is one of my favorite things to happen this season, because I just loved that so much, and it was very insightful, and just great storytelling on your part. This one's a goofier one, but Rory being like, I'm gonna eat the cube. and just to everyone's horror, eating this cube that was just like condensed arcane magic.
Oh my god.
And like doing it twice. The first time, great success. The second time,
awful.
Yeah, awful. So I thought it was just this bit that was very, very funny to me. And like a moment of levity. So you're really funny.
I love how Sin's brain works sometimes. I'm gonna be so for real.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, those two stick out. I did love the standoff scene because I had thought about that for a fucking week. Diadora was feral for a week in my brain, being like, I'm gonna go off on this motherfucker, and like we did so, and and my favorite part was that I got him to shut the fuck up.
You did.
It was like, okay, I'm leaving.
He thought of you later, which is, for him, I know it was gross, but for him, that's huge.
Living in his head rent free. Yep. Give me all your money, and by give me all your money, I mean give your money to all the poor people, you motherfucker. But no, I guess I have an enemy. Because he was like, look into her. And it's like,
I was like,
God.
oh, she's intriguing, isn't she? Yeah.
Ew. Disgusting. You know when a bad guy says that he absolutely wants to like fucking like force you to marry him?
Ugh.
Ugh. Gross.
Absolutely
I will have
not.
his head on my belt by the end of the season. Actually, no, I don't want to get the killing blow. I want Aerie to get the killing blow on him.
And we only have, I think, like 2 months left of the campaign for this season. So who knows what'll be happening for the remainder of this season and then what feeds into the next, because there's so many threads and things happening.
We have to end the season on class warfare. I have been gunning for it. I was trying to start the revolution with going off on him in front of people. Like, I'm doing my best.
I don't think it's going to be solved in one season, but I do think you've started to lay down those bricks to solve that. Yes,
we need guillotines in the town square and a gallows next to it.
Okay. Sleazy is cheering in the chat right now for anyone else.
I know. I see him. Sleazy knows what's up.
It's
we need.
So funny.
Yeah. I don't want a trial. I don't want people quietly retiring from their positions. Nah. People need to be made. Some people need to be made examples of. And I can't think of anybody better than nobility who does not do anything to help people.
I love it. Wonderful.
French Revolution style.
Incredible. Well, we are moving to what looks to be our final question for today. Coming in from Sphinx. Question for the both of us. What is your favorite place you've been to in the campaign so far, and why? I'm gonna let you go first for this one since I went first on the last one.
Genuinely, I think Jurix is my favorite place so far because there's so many layers to it that I usually feel like very stagnant and like get a little antsy to move on when we're in a place for too long. Jordan knows this.
Yep.
But with Jorix, there's like so many layers to what's going on in the city and like just different aspects that I found enjoyable and like stuff that we haven't even like touched upon yet. There's like a lot going on here, so I don't feel very like ready to move on, you know, because there's just a lot going on and a lot of different threads to pull on here. Whereas before, like Illipan, that was like our starter place, so like there's only like one thread really to pull on there. And kind of like that thread sort of went through like Vibrant and Felk and whatnot, but like now we have like, I think because it is a city and like the capital no less, we have like there's like other like there's just different things going on, all of which relate to the plot, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm just chasing one thing down and then going after the next thing, like I can like there's variety here that I can latch onto. So I think for now anyway, Jorix has been my favorite place because of all the variety and the different characters too. And I mean, maybe it's a little bit selfish because I get to see like, you know, people that like coming from my backstory, but also we're getting to learn more about Blackstone's backstory because this is where Blackstone is from. And so that's fascinating as well.
Yeah.
And like we've met Astani this season and just like learning about their backstory. And I'm looking forward to like learning, like hopefully getting to a point where like, cause they come from a similar community as Diadora. So maybe like at some point we'll get to visit their community. But yeah, there's like just a lot of possibilities here that I've been very much enjoying. So, Jurix.
Do you have a second? I will ask real quick.
A second? I think Felk. Because it's this hidden village like Naruto. Have to tack that on. But also like that, I feel like that's where the story started solidifying a bit more. with like all of like the stuff with the spirit, but also with the shadow. We got a glimpse of like the inciting incident of all of this stuff going on. Yeah. And yeah, I think Felk was probably my like, I would say Vibrant too, just because I like the idea of Vibrant like being like sort of like this like swampy like bayou type place. I think environmentally I like that very much. But Felk in terms of story I liked a lot, because that's when we finally started getting into like the nitty gritty of what's going on. So
I agree. I think for me, and obviously there's actually, I'll be curious if you all decide to go to some of the places that you've been to already, like Illipin, etc. Because there is obviously more stuff. It's just now you kind of unlocked it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
With being able to do that, I think, and this is not to copy you, but I have similar answers. In fact, the exact same. Salem, I swear, God, I'm just watching him move a million things, and he's skirting around my drinks, and I'm just terrified he's gonna knock them over. You're in chaos mode. But I agree. I think Jorix, for one, has been really interesting because there is just so many different threads for you all to either choose to grab or kind of ignore for now. And each of the, I feel like the story kind of has pulled together even more so, if that makes sense. Especially interesting political intrigue has added a whole other layer to it. And having that exploration. And then I'm very excited, like I said, to see what you all do. And then same thing, Felk for me, that whole area is a ton of fun, but just having the idea of a city that is so massive but just out of reach, hidden, as you've called it, quoting Naruto, which is incredible. Naruto, yeah. To me, it's and this is a little behind the scenes stuff as well. It's tribute to actually a place that my grandma used to take me to when I was younger. She had a secret garden, and she had a key that would unlock this garden, and only she had the key. No one else had it. And so,
was your childhood ripped directly from that fucking book?
No.
Was there a child just in convalescence somewhere hidden in an attic? Okay, you just gotta ask.
Did me reading the book at the same time, was I asking my grandmother those questions of if she had a child in her house?
Do you have a secret? Sure. Do you have a secret child that you're hiding from the world because they're sick?
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Did that pop up, especially after I saw the movie too? Yep. No, it was literally, it's a small, honestly, like an alcove, in just on the land that she lived on, and largely ruins and stuff like that. And so, just from an old house that had burned down a few years ago, and from it flowers grew, and it was where her dad, I think, used to take her. So it was just her secret place that she used to take me to, and I loved it so much. So this was kind of a tribute to that, as well as just truthfully, when I was putting the whole plot together, having something that, because here's a little bit of tidbit, and I'm sure this will pop up when Rory and Sin and I do a Q&A as well. So when Sin came into the campaign, one of the first questions Sin asked was, are there any legacies that you don't want me to play? And I said, probably not automatons, because there's probably not many in the world. And he goes, okay. But what if I did?
But what if I did? Yeah, I was like, okay, but what if I ignored that?
What if I did?
And did it anyway?
And then I was like, okay. Like, they're in the world. They're not really present anymore because of history. Okay. How can I do this so that way it's not like too science bro-y, and like maybe we can bring in some more interesting weaves of the main plot, but also his interpretation of it. And so largely that's what kind of sparked Felk as well, was that of like, okay, what if, especially
having to fit in this one rare unicorn automaton into the world.
Yeah.
Have to build a whole city for him.
Yeah. And it was through that conversation too, and through some subsequent conversations that Sin and I had, that the rest of Felk kind of grew, like, and the idea about his like creator, then, you know, that the spirit of the creator versus the creator, the spirit of the creation being a conversation, a different take on Frankenstein, so to speak.
How dare you?
So
without me, how dare you?
You had a bunch of other shit happening, so I was like, fair is good.
How dare you? You didn't fucking pull me into a Frankenstein conversation.
Well, listen, now I know for next time.
Oh my god. The betrayal of it all, the betrayal mix. I think what I like about Felk too is like it's this city, it's hidden, and like when you think hidden city, like besides Naruto, you always I know my homies in the chat be like, oh yeah, like Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
But it's not all that. It's actually a place that's stuck in time.
Yeah.
So they haven't like really grown because they are stuck in time, literally and figuratively. So it was like interesting to see like the city that's been hidden away, but it's still like in states of decay.
Yeah.
And like going and like falling into like ruins and almost like a ghost town because it's been hidden away and not maintained.
Yeah. It's an interesting, right, we've talked about with a lot of the video games that you and I play that there is foil characters or foil plots. I feel like Felk and Jorix are foil characters for each other. Yeah. Because you have, in both cases, what thriving in some aspects cities, but both are stuck in something. Jorix is stuck in the classism and society bullshit that is so present there, whereas Felk is just stuck as not only a city, but also its very function, that's cut off from the veil. So, and the people there have no idea that they're dead, which is also huge. They just think no one's come around because they're basically living out the same day every single day.
God, that's horrible.
But they have no idea. They have no memory of the day before.
Yeah.
With minor changes. And you all were that minor change that got introduced, for instance. So it's very interesting, that duality that has popped out from that, as well as kind of similar to like what the armor has represented for the shift weave. For Felk, you see spirit magic being used with good intentions, but bad outcomes.
Yes.
Which, again, I think is so interesting because so far we've either seen the harm or the good of spirit. And in this case, it has had massive ripple effects. And we still haven't seen the conclusion of what those ripple effects are. And not only that, now each of you, specifically you and Rory and Blackstone, are now tied with being secret keepers for this. Because if the organization finds out they have a Duracell battery in the woods and where it's at, that's a problem.
Yeah. Cut off from the veil, literally to keep them from being consumed by the hunger. And that's capital T, capital H.
Yep.
The hunger.
Because imagine the amount of, since the society is feeding upon the negativity of people's feelings and thoughts and emotions and who they are, right? Imagine that breaking and people realizing that they've been dead now for thousands of years. And it's because of certain people that this has happened. That resentment and hatred.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep. It's gonna be all, it's bad.
bad. So bad.
Big bad. No,
Yeah. Also, thank you for that raid. We appreciate y'all so much. Hope you had a great stream. Oh, you were also playing D&D. Love it. We're just wrapping up our Q&A with this bit. But yeah, it's interesting. And like I said, I'll be curious with how things go if you all go back and what those ripple effects will be.
Yeah. I have a question, kind of follow up to that one.
Sure.
Where's a place that we haven't been yet that you desperately want us to go?
Oh. I'm gonna say 2 places.
Okay.
Because I'm wording it very carefully so I don't give away spoilers for stuff. I really would love for you all to go to where Aurea has been. Her origin. The Citadel.
So yeah, okay.
There is a place near the Citadel that is literally what I like to call it, a retirement community for adventurers. It is literally, it's a small town near the sea. The Citadel is within reach, and it's where adventurers go to retire. And all they do there is they storytell. And there's a river that feeds into the Citadel, which is the River of Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Stories take on aspects of the souls of who is telling the story. And it feeds into that. This is also right near throwing it back to the very first episode, the monologue that I did at the start, where the path of the stars are.
Okay.
So I'm like, but it's up north.
I mean, you have threaded
I do.
us potentially going north, so.
Yep. So that's a potential of like, okay, not only that, like just what other stories and things you could get, but also seeing, I think, what could be for the group, like people who have been through same or similar trials and tribulations that you all have been, and have gotten to the other side and can now have that life of just like taking time for themselves, not worrying as much that the world is going to end today, etc. But that's still being present. So I think that for sure is a place. The other one is the island you mentioned. I've been sitting on that since season 1. Well, there's been a lot happening. And I actually like have, because of also conversations with Dimples, bringing Captain Tyborn and stuff, I have a whole binder now of seafaring campaign stuff. Just at the ready. But I'm very excited for you to eventually get there. I think you'll get there, not this season, but I do think it's on the horizon. And what you will discover. Because I think it's going to be very similar to Felk and what has been this season so far, of just not world shattering, but world shifting in terms of that. So I think those are definitely 2 that come to mind that are not spoilery for other things.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a big world.
I'm a speed run. We're gonna get to that island this season.
If you do that, you're gonna be like an Expedition 33 where you're under leveled all of a sudden.
Oh fuck.
If you do
I'm gonna get smacked by a giant hand. Fine.
You know, it is what it is. But you were saying something else before that.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't remember. It's probably some quip that it wasn't important.
Here, I'll ask this question. What has been kind of to feed off of this one? Of the places, right? What has been the most challenging place so far for you as a player, but also Diadora?
Most challenging place? I don't... I think Felk
Mm.
was challenging for Diadora, just because I mean she died there, you know.
Yeah.
I think everything, like, not to say that like, nothing else has been challenging, but like that's been like there was like stealth stuff going on, and that's not really her forte. So like just things, and just like again, that's where the story solidified. So it's not challenge in a bad way, but I think it was like a challenge for her, just wanting to protect everybody, but being unable to because of all these different factors, and then dying and feeling like a failure because of that, even though that's not her fault. And being revived, and like, you know, just like, yeah, I think that for her maybe. I think, and like, I do count Vibrant as being in that too, because just that was like when she found her friend being corrupted and couldn't do anything to stop it. Like that was just like hard for her, because she doesn't want to be like famous or anything, and she's not even really setting out to be a hero, but she does want to be helpful and useful. And in that moment, she was neither. And it was somebody who, like, again, no fault of either of their own, but it was just like one of those things where it's like, if I had just been a little bit sooner, if I'd just been here like even a couple days, maybe I could have helped him, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a what if type of moment, but it's like you don't really have an answer for that, right? I think Jorix too has been challenging for her.
Yeah.
Just because like emotionally and everything. Just with everything going on, like both in like just like inner turmoil, but also like what's going on around her, like societal wise, it's just a lot for her to take in, and she's been having a hard time finding her footing on solid ground because of everything. For me, I don't know if I've had like anything that's been really challenging. I mean, it's all a challenge, you know, like, I mean, trying to figure things out, but it's not anything that's been like, I mean, and obviously challenges have to be a bad thing, but like, I can't really think of anything that's like, I've like found difficult, really. Because like, even in things being difficult, we always manage to figure it out as a group. Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anything for myself that I would say has been challenging, really. How about you?
Challenging but fun was the Unitel.
Yeah.
Having a living dungeon.
Yes.
Was really interesting, as well as, again, bringing in aspects of that hidden city that didn't quite make the mark in terms of where the protection was. And then the fact that a place that was, and we saw it in the flashbacks, used, not religiously, but was used as a means to help with security. And the desecration of that by Belsarion and the society, using that as a hub and feeding ground. And the fact he was able to corrupt even the one soul who is part of Felk, but didn't, again, also make the cut either because of reasons, which may come up later, which is why I'm gonna very interesting. It was very difficult though too, because I did not want this kind of dungeon delve to feel like a slog.
Yeah.
So, because I think very easily it could have, especially with the information you were getting. And then having to balance that also with the fact that you were freeing live prisoners too, as well. So that presented a whole other challenge. A challenge you all have not seen, but you've yet fully, but you've started to, is the catacombs.
Yeah.
With the crypt and the catacombs. So, which that's another place I'm very excited, but you're already going to. So it's like, okay.
we gotta get the fucking bone weaver thread or whatever the fuck. Like, we promised somebody that we're gonna save their life. Like, I don't know why we make these promises. No.
God forbid.
Yeah, no. The Unitel dungeon definitely didn't feel like a slog to me. I think it would have felt like a slog if we weren't getting information.
Mm-hmm.
But we got information, so that made it like, okay, we're learning things as we're going through this dungeon. Whereas like, some dungeon crawls is just a pure dungeon crawl, and it's like can feel very repetitive.
Yeah.
But I think for that, like, at least we were getting information, so it didn't come across as, for me at least, a slog or boring or anything.
Yeah. It was just very different for me. I haven't really done one of those before, so it was very much like, okay, how are we doing this kind of thing? So
makes sense.
Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna make one last call for questions. Otherwise, that's it for today.
Ask your questions right now.
And don't worry, we will be having another Q&A with the rest of the cast at the end of the season. Depending on how things pan out, we might have another where it's Pherin and Sin or Sin and Maz or whatever. Just based upon scheduling. We're trying to, because as we've mentioned, the state of the world, trying to be extra mindful with everyone and their schedules and just wanting to and needing to take breaks when needed.
Yeah.
So I don't mind extending the season out longer so we can do that. And then, like I said, I've had a wonderful time talking to Fair the last couple of hours. So
been fun.
And learning a lot about what, you've been not thriving, but vibing with and stuff. So
I've been thriving with.
Thriving too, that's also good.
I don't know about that. I don't know about any of that.
But
I'm certainly here.
Yeah. So with that though, I think we will go ahead and call that for today. So why don't we go ahead and do our outros, and I already know where we're gonna go. We're gonna go look at cute aquarium animals that are just being adorable, because I think that's a nice little serotonin reset. So
hell yeah.
But Fair, if you would like to say where we can find and support all the wonderful things that you are doing.
Yeah, you can follow me on socials at Fairbear. That's Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and here on Twitch. I do stream. Might stream tonight. Probably not. I'm very tired though. Because I'm very tired. But maybe we'll see. You can also find me over on Dibbles and Dice channel. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain for Philly by Night, The Monster Within, which is a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, telling the story of newly made kindred members of the Camarilla. And we are going on a blood hunt.
I love
that was the end of last session. We are on our way to do a blood hunt. This is my first ever blood hunt in any vampire thing that I've ever played in, so it should be interesting. But yeah, follow Dimples and find me over there on Wednesdays. And then you can find me here on Saturdays. 1 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Wonderful.
Follow me on Twitch. I'm funny. Just kidding.
You are. You are.
Follow me on Twitch because I'm funny.
But also wonderful. And yeah. Hi everyone. I've been your host, storyteller, all that fun stuff. And yeah, this is where I hang out most days. You can find me behind the scenes on Wednesdays over on Dimple's channel, usually running production and having tea come out my nose because someone's making me laugh so hard. So, that happens. But yeah, this is where I hang out. I will be streaming here tomorrow and the rest of the week. You can find all that information on socials, etc. If you want to help us out, consider checking out our YouTube and or our Patreon. Because there's going to be more stuff getting added there as well. It's also a great way to support. If you want to play games with me, because I'm going to do this because I felt Fair, even without her saying anything, I felt the look. You can hire me and start playing games. I have some games currently open that are looking for, I think, 2 more players in each. One is a Curse of Strahd, and another is a Forgotten God kind of Tal'Dorei campaign. So if you would like to join either of those, they're going to be small, kind of like how Amp is with 3 people. Because there's only so much I can do with DMing before my brain goes burr. So if you would like to do that, that'd be great. Also, you should go follow and support Fair's Throne and Kofi as well as the rest of the cast, because they're all great. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you as always to our incredible mod team as well, and of course Sin and Maz. We love them so much. We will be back next week, hopefully with everybody. Hopefully, because your girl is dying to get back into this so much.
Same.
So we will.
I need to get closer to chopping the goblin's head off. And I can't do that if we're not playing, you know.
That's true. That's true. So we will get out of here, y'all. Yes, like I said, we're gonna go look at some adorable little aquarium animals, mainly seals, just being adorable. Because yes. So we're gonna go do that. And we will catch you next time from Beyond the Veil. Bye, everybody.